just wanted to do a review. The Cannondale SuperSix EVO 105. This is a 2019 edition that I picked up from REI a month and a half ago, something like that. It was on sale, marked down from about $1,900 to $1,500. I was looking for a more road race style bike, as I have a Diverge, and this seemed to fit the bill, and it was a pretty good deal, so I picked it up. And I've had a decent amount of miles on it, so I wanted to do a quick review. The geometry is obviously quite a bit more aggressive than what's on my base model Diverge, the alloy version, so it's taken some time to get used to riding in a more aggressive riding position, just kind of getting my body adapted to that. This is the 56 centimeter frame version, and it weighs in around 17.5 pounds, or just under 8 kilograms. There's Clarence, the kitty. It has the 105 group set on it. I believe this is a 30 and 11 cassette, 11 speed, and a 52-36 chain ring, 25 mil tires. I put a couple of bottle cages on it, and some of the Shimano mountain bike pedals. I just like those for some reason. And a little bike bag and a light, and we're ready to spin. So thoughts, first impressions of riding this bike so far. As I mentioned, the geometry is quite a bit more aggressive than my Diverge gravel bike. That's taken some getting used to. Accelerates and climbs so much more effectively than the Diverge for obvious reasons. It's probably 3, 4, if not maybe even 4.5 pounds lighter. It's got a carbon frame, so yes, it climbs pretty well. Just doesn't quite descend as well as the Diverge, or at least I'm not as comfortable on it currently. I think that's just due to only having a couple hundred miles on this and over close to 3,000 on the Diverge, and the more aggressive geometry just makes me a little more hesitant to attack on the downhills. And I was on a descent a couple weeks ago and hit a bit of a slick patch, and I was kind of turning and almost kind of took the first spill on the bike. And obviously, these are quite a bit smaller tires than what I have on my Diverge now. These are 25 mil. I have 38 mil Tracer Pros on the Diverge. It's kind of smooth knobbies, but still quite a bit bigger. And these are, basically racing slicks on this bike, but set up, really well for the road. I've done a few fast group rides on this, and it's had no problem keeping up. I just need to get my fitness back up to where it should be, and yeah, it's definitely not the bike holding me back in that regard. As far as the cassette goes for climbing, I almost feel like I could use a 32 tooth cassette in the back would be helpful, or maybe a smaller chain ring in the front, something like that. I just feel like on some of these steeper, very steep climbs I've done on this bike so far, it's felt like I could have used a smaller chain ring in front, or a bigger cassette in the back. So that might be something I look to change out or upgrade in the future. As well as I noticed it's been skipping out of gear a little bit, or just kind of shifting if you will. And so I need to take it back to REI and get that fixed, because you have one free bike maintenance in the first 6 months of purchase, and I've only had this about a month and a half, so I need to get that dialed in. And then I think if I was to upgrade anything on the bike in the future, it'd be to get more of a aero, kind of a lightweight racing wheel set for this, just to drop the weight some more and have kind of a more aero wheel set going on, if you will. I don't necessarily think it's the most aesthetically pleasing bike. I mean, as far as I guess ease of maintenance, it's nice to have the cables externally routed. For aesthetic reasons, I like when they're internally routed like they are in the Diverge, going from the disc brakes on the Diverge to the rim brakes on this SuperSix EVO. They still work pretty good. I haven't had any issues with that, and I've been trying not to ride this bike in the rain too much, just because disc brakes work so much better in wet conditions. I just need to get my Diverge back from the dealership where it's getting serviced, but I digress. So overall impressions, pretty amazing bike for the price, and just need to keep getting my fitness up to see what it's really capable of, just because this carbon frame alone and 105 componentry is pretty good setup, and mess around with the cassette or maybe chainring in the future, and a lighter weight racing wheel set for the fast group rides, or maybe some crit races next summer. And this bike would be able to handle, I think, anything you want to put at it. I think the longest ride I've done on this bike so far has been about 2.5 hours, and I didn't feel any worse for the wear after. It's just getting used to the more aggressive kind of racing position that this geometry kind of sets you up in, because it is a crit or a race bike. But overall, very happy with the purchase, and I will do some updates in the future when I get some more miles and impressions from this bike piece. And if you have Cannondale SuperSix EVO 105 or any of the other versions, I would love to hear what your thoughts and impressions are on the bike, as well as any upgrades that you have been found to be helpful. Peace. Much love.